Every family has secrets. Some are whispered, others are buried so deep it takes a DNA test to uncover the truth. Welcome to Genetic Confessions, the podcast where unexpected ancestry meets emotional revelation. We will be your guide through true stories of shocking DNA discoveries, hidden siblings, mistaken identities, and the unraveling of everything we thought we knew about family. Some guests are ready to tell all, others prefer to stay anonymous, but one thing's for sure, once you open that test, there's no going back. This is Genetic Confessions. One test, one truth, one lifetime unraveled. First of all, guys, I'm in love with this shirt, okay? I'm in love with this shirt. My aunt-in-law bought it for me, and I'm so excited. I wear this shirt almost all the time, ever since I got it, because I love this shirt so much. But anyways, welcome back to another episode of Genetic Confessions. You know, with the podcast over here, where DNA tests don't just tell you about your ancestors, they flip your whole life upside down, okay? And I mean your whole entire life. They flip that shit. Flip it upside down. Okay. Before we get into today's story, just want to answer a few questions. A lot of people was asking about episode 1 and when my sister is going to tell her side of the story, and it's coming soon, guys. I don't have an official date yet. It is something that we're gonna do here in person. So she would be sitting right beside me, and she will tell her side of the story and how she feels about everything. So once we get a timeline or like a date where me and her can actually like meet and sit down, and she can come here, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, like once we figure that out, I'll give you guys a date for sure. Okay. Second thing is last week's episode, where I asked the question of like what they're gonna tell their children, like are there siblings, are there cousins, or whatever the case may be. And they were honest about it, and they told them that you guys are siblings slash cousins, and they told them the story and everything. Now the children, I mean, it depended on, I guess, their mood. One day that's my sister, my brother, and the next day like, oh, fuck you, you're my cousin, like I don't go fuck, blah blah blah. But I mean, it's all family bullshit, so it is what it is. Now let's get into today's story. Today's story is about a woman who thought that she was donor conceived. So basically her mom told her, like, for 30 years of her life, said, oh, you were conceived by a donor, we did IVF, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be, etc etc. So the woman's name, we're gonna call her Sarah. Now we're calling her Sarah because she confided in Genetic Confessions, but she does not want her actual name and everything to be revealed. I keep secrets, y'all. I keep secrets, I promise. I'll tell your story, but I promise I will keep your name out of it, okay? So Sarah thought she was donor conceived for 30 years of her life. That's what her mom always told her. After 30 years, DNA test revealed, like, well, mom was actually lying. Mom wasn't, she wasn't telling the truth. And spoiler alert, her dad wasn't a donor, okay? At all. Like, he was actually the next door neighbor, or the neighbor, the guy next door, the neighbor, okay? Now, I mean, I get it. We all borrow a cup of coffee, a cup of sugar, a little Kool-Aid packet from the neighbor, every once in a while. But in this case, Mama borrowed the whole entire man. Okay? Mama borrowed the whole entire man. Now, Sarah wrote, and these are her words. She grew up believing that she was donor conceived. At least that's what the story her mom told her since childhood. She and her husband couldn't have children naturally, so a generous donor made it possible for, her to be conceived. And Sarah loved that story. She thought it was special. She thought it made her unique. She was thrilled. She told her friends, yeah, I was donor conceived because my parents couldn't have children. And sometimes, they made little jokes about it, like, who knows, maybe I have dozens of siblings out there. Somewhere a family reunion could fill a whole fucking stadium. I mean, it probably could. But here's the thing. The DNA tests, they don't care about family stories. They care about facts, right? So for her 30th birthday, Sarah decided to take a DNA test. One of those like ancestries, or what is it? Those 23andMe's that tell you like your heritage, kind of like, oh, you're like 2% Chinese or whatever the case may be. So she got one of those. She, did the swab tube, mailed it off, and 6 weeks it told her she was 40% Irish, 10% Italian, and some other shit. And it made her question everything about her life. So Sarah thought she'd get some fun ancestry results, maybe find a donor sibling or two. Instead, she got something much closer to home. A match that said her biological father was the neighbor. Ain't that some shit? Oh, that's crazy. The neighbor? Oh, not even the milkman. Not the milkman. The neighbor. Y'all remember those milkman stories? You got chopped off by a stork, but you don't look like nobody in your family because you was the milkman's baby. All right, I'm sorry. That's not nice. That's not nice. Sarah, I apologize. I don't mean to crack jokes too much, but I mean, okay. So, not a distant relative, not a third cousin, twice removed. Nope, the guy across the street. The man who waved while taking out the trash. The one who lent her dad his lawnmower over the summer. Imagine spending 30 years waving at your biological father every garbage day without knowing it. That's not recycling, that's reparenting. I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah confronted her mom, okay, with the results in her hand, heart racing. Why does the DNA test say that the neighbor is my father? And her mom responds, not, I'm sorry, not, let me explain, just, he wasn't supposed to tell you. Oh, not that he wasn't supposed to tell you, baby girl. Baby girl, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 30 years of lies unraveled in one sentence. It's behooving. And I know, I get it. Like, nobody ever wants to find out shit like that. At all. At all. Yo, DNA tests be fucking up people's lives for real, for real. Okay. So, the truth was this. When her parents struggled with fertility, instead of going through a donor bank, her mom went next door. And they built an entire story around it that Sarah believed for decades. So the dad was in it? So the dad let the mom fuck the neighbor so they can have a kid? The dad, he probably watched. Ooh, he was probably one of those weirdos that like watching their girls get fucked. Sorry, Sarah, my bad. Again, I don't mean to shame your dad like that. What if that's a kink? Okay, all right. Sarah. really made you believe that for a long time, and that's crazy. Anyway, so Sarah fell out with her mom. Like, the fallout was really complicated. Sarah still loved the man who raised her. He was always her dad no matter what. But now she had this other family, one she'd been sharing potlucks and block parties with her entire life without realizing they shared the same DNA too. Suddenly, every neighborhood barbecue felt different. That potato salad on the picnic table, yeah. It turns out it's a family recipe. At first, Sarah was furious. She felt betrayed, deceived. But over time, her perspective softened. She finally realized mom's choices were flawed. But her dad, the man who raised her, never changed. He was still the one who read her bedtime stories, taught her how to ride a bike, and cheered her on at graduation. Biology didn't erase that. Now, Sarah describes her life as messy but full. I can see that, girl. I can see that. Okay? She has a dad who raised her. She has a biological father she never expected. And she has a strange, unexpected bonus family she's still trying to figure out. DNA has a way of forcing secrets into the open. Sometimes it heals, sometimes it hurts, and sometimes it just makes neighborhood barbecues really, really awkward. I know, Sarah. I'm sorry, girl. Because Sarah's story isn't only about betrayal, it's about identity, about love, about how families form in most unexpected, complicated ways. And at the end of the day, Sarah chose to embrace it all. The father who raised her, the neighbor who helped create her, and the truth that finally set her free. Now, Sarah, I have a question for you. And also, I would email you just in case you don't view this podcast episode. Now, how did everything go? Did you confront your biological dad, like the neighbor? Did you confront him? What did your dad have to say about this? Like, I know you spoke to your mom and she was just like, oh, well, he wasn't supposed to tell you. That just sounds weird. So what did your dad say about it? Your unbiological dad. What did he say? Do you have any siblings? Are they on board? Do they know? How do they feel? Are you guys trying to form a relationship, or are you just like, oh, well, that's the neighbor's children? The neighbor's child. I don't know how many siblings you have, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Those are questions I would like to know. And it's just like, wow, does the neighbor have a wife? Does the wife know? Were they all in on it? Was this a group thing? Did they have an orgy? Oh, I'm sorry. I really want to know. I thank you for sharing your story, but there's so many unanswered questions here that I feel like we need to get to the bottom of this. And I feel like it needs investigating some more, thoroughly. And I feel like these are questions you need to ask. So yes, let's get back to that. Get back to me. I'm going to email you these questions, and we would like to know. And I hope you stay safe out there. I hope you stay safe out there. And please be careful who you date. You don't know who else could be your sibling. Because I feel like, the neighborhood cock is out and he just sperming everywhere. Alright, I'm sorry, that was wrong. That was wrong, I'm sorry. This is Genetic Confessions, okay? Where DNA doesn't just tell you where you from, it tells you the truth whether you are ready for it or not, okay? Next week's episode will not be an episode because it is my birthday week and I'm not doing this, not next week. So we are going to have a break. I would do the next episode the following week. I might be generous enough and double down. Maybe 2 episodes drop one day. It all depends on how I feel, honestly. But thank you for watching. And if you have a story, if your friend has a story, if you know a story, and you would like to share it, remember, I keep secrets, I change names. See you on the next episode of Genetic Confessions.